Good afternoon, everybody, coding enthusiasts, teachers, learners, wherever you're connecting from, you're very welcome to join us for this short journey together to launch You Code Week 2023. My name is Tommaso Dalla Vecchia. I'm reaching out to you from European SchoolNet Future Classroom Lab in Brussels, and I'm deeply happy and honored to be your guide for these short sessions today. EU Code Week is an initiative that has been run for more than 10 years, as you know, and it's become one of the most successful grassroots initiatives across the globe, promoting computational thinking, digital creativity, and literacy across Europe and beyond. So we're particularly proud and happy to be a part of that. So today we'll have different sessions. We'll hear from decision makers, Code Week ambassadors, leading teachers, and especially also students to learn a bit more about this initiative and find out what we can do in the coming weeks to come. Now, without further ado, of course, I would introduce you to the next speaker. But before then, I would like to remind you that we cannot see you, but we can read you. So regardless of the platform you're connecting from to join these live sessions, you can comment, write any feedback or ideas you might have. And of course, why not? Let us know where are you connecting from, and perhaps what year you started to follow EU Code Week, since it's such a long-lasting initiative. And now let's find out who is our first guest today, because today with us we have Ms. Renate Nicolai, Deputy Director General of Communication Network, Content and Technology of the European Commission. Thank you very much for joining us and for spending some time with us. I would like, of course, first of all, to ask you a very simple and direct question. Why do the European Commission likes EU Code Week so much that is still supporting it after so many years?
I think Code Week is one of those examples where we show as European Commission that we are not only good at, presenting big political objectives, such as we want a digital transition, we want by 2030 certain targets, but we actually also kind of trigger it down to the individual, to every kind of citizen, everybody interested in it, to make it a tangible kind of experience. We have set in our political guidelines for 2030 to guide our digital transition that we want by 2030, 80% of our people to have the basic digital skills. We are not there yet. We have also said we want by then 20 million of ICT specialists in Europe. We are not there yet. And, we have a road to kind of, to manage. And in order to get ready, we have to stimulate the interest for that. And Code Week is a very good example to kind of, from a grassroots development onwards, to really stimulate interest in technology so that we are not only providing this from a political level, but we make it worthwhile experience.
Thank you very much. A foundational initiative somehow to build everything else on top of that in a way. Of course, you mentioned very ambitious yet very important and timely target for European Union. How do you think EU Code Week can really contribute to achieving that?
We really need digitally savvy people in Europe. We need them to be digitally literate. We need them to be curious. We need them to be residents in the digital age. You can only do that if you have a basic understanding of what's going on. And if this is not only very, strange and totally kind of, foreign languages for you. And that's where I think the Code Week really comes in, because it can help teachers, it can help, students, it can help pupils, it can help everyday people to really get an interest in coding that might sound like something I have nothing to do with, but then actually they could experience that it's maybe part of their life already, and they could understand the basics of it and make them more secure and be a secure and protected person in this digital environment. We can do a lot, from the politics around it to provide support for the technology, for the industry. We can come with rules to protect the people better, but we also need to empower the people to actually use it themselves. This is what Code Week is about.
I couldn't say that with better words. And of course, this component of consciousness as much as empowerment, it's definitely something, a bit of a trademark of the initiative that we really want to promote ourselves as well. Thank you so much for that. Perhaps just before letting you go back to your busy schedule, I would like to give you the floor to share a word of encouragement for the whole audience, which might be, and we'll find out very soon, whether they are kind of newcomers or maybe more seasoned participants to your Code Week, any words of encouragement for them to get engaged?
Yeah, dear kind of residents of the Code Week, dear kind of, new travelers in the Code Week, dear newcomers, I hope you will embrace this possibility. You will stay interested in this. I also want to thank the many volunteers who have always been part of the success story of the Code Week. I think we're doing an important thing. We have declared this year the year of the skills. So you're making a contribution to make this also a year of the digital skills. We have to start early. We have to, nurture the interest of students, of pupils in school for technology, for the new developments, whether they are girls or boys, to really have the breadth of the society involved in it. So I wish you great exercises, great fun, because I know it's also fun to learn about it. It's not only kind of, studying hard, it's really understanding and making it easy to understand. So I wish you a very successful week with a lot of participants. Stay tuned and keep it up. Keep up the good spirit. It's important for Europe.
Thank you very much. Thank you really for spending some time with us, especially you heard the support is strong, is there, is present, and by the many colors you also heard this Deputy Director General words, Code Week should be fun, and let's keep it that way as well. Thank you so much. And for being true to this promise, we'll also go now to the next welcome speech, which is actually coming from a professor you all very well know, most likely, Mitch Resnick, which is a Papert Professor of the MIT Media Lab, and of course has co-created with his group the beloved Scratch computational thinking, programming, language, and tool. So let's hear to Mitch Resnick speech, and thank you again for being with us.
Hi, I'm Mitch Resnick, a professor at the MIT Media Lab, and I'm one of the creators of Scratch. The Scratch team has always appreciated how educators and students have used Scratch during EU Code Week, and I'm honored to get a chance to talk with you during this 2023 kickoff event. It was about 20 years ago that Natalie Rusk and I and others in our lifelong kindergarten group at the MIT Media Lab started working on Scratch. And it's been great to see how Scratch has spread around the world, with young people creating tens of millions of Scratch projects every year. What excites us the most is not the number of Scratch projects, but the incredible variety and creativity of the projects. Games, animations, science simulations, online newsletters, how-to tutorials, collaborative stories, and many other types of projects that we never imagined when we invented Scratch. This creativity excites us, but we believe that the ability to think and act creatively, is more important today than ever before. As the pace of change accelerates throughout the world, young people will face a never-ending stream of unknown, uncertain, and unpredictable situations throughout their lives. When young people create projects with Scratch, they're not just learning technical and computational skills, they're developing the creative and collaborative skills that they'll need to thrive in today's rapidly changing world. The Scratch Foundation is continuing to enhance Scratch, expanding the possibilities for what young people can create. And our lifelong kindergarten research group at MIT is working on a new mobile coding app that will enable young people to create interactive projects on their mobile phones so they can express themselves creatively anytime, anywhere. We'll be launching the new app called Octa Studio in late October. But regardless of what tool or platform you use, what's most important is to engage your students in creative activities. And the best way to do that is to follow the 4 P's of creative learning: projects, passion, peers, and play. Make sure to provide students with opportunities to work on projects based on their passions in collaboration with peers in a playful spirit, and they'll be sure to develop their creative capacities. I can't wait to see what you and your students create during EU Code Week.
Thank you very much to Mitch Resnick. I'm sure many of you has recognized it. And of course, let's keep using Scratch to ignite the creativity and engagement of our pupils and students. That's really a great tool and also free to use for everybody, of course, which is also very important. Now, of course, I've been reading also your comments as mentioned, so it's great to see many of you connected from all across Europe and beyond: Greece, Romania, Spain, Italy, Malta, Croatia, Slovenia, it's Turkey, Poland. It's brilliant to see all of you connecting. Even somebody from Brazil is connected with us, so thank you so much for joining. Now, the next part is about a bit the strategy overall that also embeds and include EU Code Week to bring to the youth the digital skills and competencies they need to thrive in today's society and economy, of course. Now, the next roundtable is moderated by our colleagues Eugenia Casariego Artola, who is also actually coordinating all the pedagogical activities, and they are many within EU Code Week. So the floor is yours, Eugenia. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommaso, and good afternoon, everyone. We would like now to move on to a quick roundtable to set the context of Code Week, set as well an idea of what's coming up with Code Week in the next years and in the next period. So I would like to engage now in a roundtable for which we have invited Stephanie Hillett, Policy Officer at the Unit Interactive Technologies Digital for Culture Education at the Connect of the European Commission. Welcome, Stephanie. We have as well here with us Anushka Ferrari, who is Policy Officer at the Digital Education Unit in the EAC of the European Commission. Very welcome, Anushka.
Thanks for having me here.
And of course, Mark Durando, the Executive Director of European Schoolnet. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Welcome. My first question is to you, Stephanie, just to bring some context into Code Week, into this event and this initiative in general. So what are the main priorities of DG Connect in terms of providing EU citizens with the skills they need to navigate this digital age in which we are, and how can EU Code Week support these priorities?
Thanks, Eugenia, and thanks also for having me. So as we heard before from Renate, digital skills are really a top priority for the EU. We are celebrating this year the European Year of Skills. We have many different services in the Commission that work in that area, including DG EAC. We have Anushka here with us, and I'm working for DG Connect. And for us, the Digital Decade Policy Program really guides our priorities. And we heard before from Renate, we have these different targets. We want to achieve that all adults possess basic digital skills by 2030. And very important to us is the target of achieving 20 million ICT specialists by the end of this decade. And that's quite a significant number. That's about 10% of the working population. Another priority for us is to close the gender gap. We've seen that most ICT specialists and most ICT graduates are actually men and not women, but we need to have women in the workforce. We need to have them to be part of the diverse team that develops the technologies of the future. So this is really something important to us. And how is Code Week contributing to that? I think for everything. We cannot just start building up the ICT specialist at university level or then in the workforce. We need to start very, very early as in kindergarten, even with unplugged activities. And we've seen in the statistics actually that those are quite important and represented in our database. So yes, we need to get boys and girls started, interested in coding, computational thinking, other related digital skills as early as possible. And Code Week plays an enormous role for that. Also in closing the gender gap as boys and girls are really targeted at the same time. And building up teachers is very, very important. Also then to act as role models for our future coders and programmers.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's interesting. Thank you for this comprehensive answer. It's interesting to see how we can build such big or arise to such big goals from the ground. And talking about early ages, Anushka, what are the EAC's priorities in regarding the development of computational thinking and digital skills from early age?
I think it's very interesting that you asked this question, because we are currently discussing at the European Council about these matters. So in April, we adopted 2 proposals for Council recommendations. We are now negotiating with the Council on that, and one of them is specifically on improving the provision of digital skills. And believe it or not, the most heated debate that we have in these negotiations are related to the early age and starting early. Stephanie just said it. We cannot think of having more ICT professionals or a more diversified staff in ICT if we don't tackle this matter very, very early. Now, what I want to underline is that when we talk about starting early, we are not talking about putting digital devices in the hands of children very, very early. We're talking about the other way around. Children are already using digital technologies. They are swiping their ways through the world through digital, and it is very important that they don't just use technologies for being quiet and sitting still, but that they use it, as we were saying before, for meaningful activities, for play, for empowerment. So I think this is quite relevant and quite important and very much connected to Code Week, actually, because we see that through coding and through an awareness that children have with coding, they have a different approach to digital technologies that is less passive and more proactive. So it is important to start early. Obviously, it's not necessarily meaning that children should be using technology more than they are already doing. It's about using them in a different way and understanding technologies as well in a different way. So through this engagement, this is what we set up in our proposal, and this is what we are discussing at the Council. Let's see in November if the member states agree with what we propose.
Let's see, indeed, and it does relate very much to the mission of Code Week in that technology for us is a platform, a way to develop skills rather than that's something that's already there. So indeed, it does fit very well. And Mark, my next question is to you. So how, talking of European Schoolnet, how does European Schoolnet support the Digital Education Action Plan, and in particular the areas relating to the promotion of digital skills, coding and computational thinking?
Yeah, to follow the previous intervention, I think we have to say that the current technological changes of this last decade, they require stakeholders not only to focus on the digital skills of teachers, school leaders, as well as students, but also to globally support citizens in the digital society more holistically. And that's absolutely important to realize that in order to do that for empowering citizens, as Renate and Nikolai mentioned, it has to start as early as possible at school. So we all agree that if we want to build a digital skilled society, we have to start as early as possible from the primary and even pre-primary school. And that's quite important. Regarding the support that our network of ministries of education is provided for the Digital Education Action Plan of the Commission, we are supporting the Commission in the development of the digital skills of teachers in quite a lot of various projects and initiatives funded by the Commission, such as eTwinning, the school community of teachers in Europe, Scientix, which is a science community of science, the community of science teachers in Europe, as well Better Internet for Kids for responsible use of internet and mobile technologies for young children. So that's the major activities we are developing. I will also mention very quickly the importance of supporting the Commission in the digital skills and job platform, as it is a one-stop shop where anybody can have a look and can investigate all issues related to digital skills and job. And finally, of course, we support since the beginning of the initiative, the EU Code Week.
Thank you, Mark. I see then a point of agreement in the sense that what we are aiming to achieve is a change of paradigm in a way, and to try to start early on and not try to tackle the problem from the top, but rather from the bottom, so that we can create sustainable change and lasting change, not just sustainable. Now going a bit more concrete, and now Mark was mentioning now, Stephanie, how European Schoolnet has been involved in Code Week for a long time, but so has the Commission since the beginning. So my question is, how has the European Commission supported EU Code Week so far, and what are you particularly most proud of EU Code Week?
So it's the 11th edition of Code Week this year. This is amazing. And the idea that was generated in the year 2013, and it came from the young advisors of the Digital Agenda, which was an advisory group of the former Commissioner Neelie Kroes. And those people were really motivated by the grassroots campaigns happening at EU level. And they put together a team of ambassadors, and it's really great to see that several of those ambassadors are still very active with Code Week now. And if we look at the figures, it's amazing how the initiative has grown. In 2013, we had around 3,000 events and about 10,000 participants. Was already something for the start, but it grew over 10 years to close to 80,000 events in the last year, and more than 3.2 million people reached across the EU and actually also beyond the EU. And how do we support it? At the beginning, we supported the initiative with communication activities. We allowed or we organized meetings here in Brussels so that ambassadors could meet, exchange, and share best practices and how they could work together. We also took over then the management of the website. And as of 2019, we provided more funding for communication activities, for community building activities, for learning material that the European Schoolnet has took over the last years to come. And so it's really something we are proud of, is this great community, as our Deputy Director General has mentioned. It's the community of volunteers all across Europe, of the ambassadors, the leading teachers, all the teachers that organize activities, or all the partners, and other stakeholders that contribute somehow to the success of the initiative. It's really, it's a big community, and it's great to be part of it. Yeah.
Indeed, it's the community that makes Code Week, and listeners, you're going to have a chance to meet some members of the community through the event today, so I suggest you stay tuned so you can see how diverse and varied it is, from indeed ambassadors to schools to teachers. And Anushka, I have another question for you. And how do you think, now talking more generally, how do you think initiatives like EU Code Week can contribute to achieving the objectives set within the digital education plan that we were mentioning before? What is the deep value, do you think, of these initiatives?
Yeah, I think this initiative has a lot of value, and it resonates a lot with the objectives that we are having in the Digital Education Action Plan. So with the Digital Education Action Plan, we have two priorities. One of them is to support the digital transformation of education and training, and the second one is support the development of digital skills. So definitely initiatives like Code Week contribute to the second priority, the one of developing digital skills. But in particular, I think they give another nuance to the teaching of informatics. So when we teach digital skills, there is an underlying discipline, which is informatics or computer science. You can call it in different ways, or also computational thinking. We see that many member states are addressing either informatics, computational thinking, or computer science in their curricula. But I think that initiatives like Code Week, they contribute and complement what is done or not done through the member states. So one thing is what is imposed, what is top down in a way, and the other thing is the bottom up approach. When you think about Code Week, you think about colors, you think about playfulness, you think about willingness, and this is what makes the difference, is the approach. So I think it helps in a way, not only achieving the objectives that we have in this policy document that we came up with, which is the Digital Education Action Plan, but it also goes beyond that, because it promotes an idea of coding, of developing computational thinking that is breaking down the barriers that we have. We know that very often when we think about computer science or informatics, we have a very preconceived idea. If you think about a software engineer, you think about generally a man who is a bit of a geek, and a bit weird, not very social. Whereas EU Code Week has as one of the objectives and one of the results to show to young people, but also to teachers, honestly, that coding can be interesting, can be fun, can be social, can be done in a group. And so it's providing other colors and other nuances to what it means to code, to what it means to tackle disciplines that are as complex as informatics. And as Papa was saying, it's an activity that's got a low floor, a very high ceiling. So you can start very, very simply, and then you can develop your way through a lot of complexity. And this is the interesting part, that children and teachers have a peek into this world that can be very rewarding.
That's a very interesting way to put it, and it's indeed so, right? So we kind of contribute to enlarging a bit the definition of coding, the definition of programming and IT, and we kind of bring it also to other school subjects, indeed. So thank you. That's a very interesting way to put it. Mark, my next question is to you. And so we were talking before, of course, of European SchoolNet. Can you elaborate more on why did European SchoolNet decide to support EU Code Week since its early days? European SchoolNet has been involved in Code Week for the years that it has been running, and in what ways has initiative values and objectives corresponded to the ones of European SchoolNet itself?
Anushka is starting answering this when she mentioned the issue of computational thinking, and that this computational thinking has emerged as a fundamental skill for everyone, and not only for computing scientists from now on. And that's why ministries of education have engaged curricular reforms in order to integrate computational thinking, basic concept of computational thinking in primary and secondary education. And that's one of the main rationale behind the decision of ministries to engage from the bottom-up level as well, in order to support the emergence of innovative initiatives from schools all over Europe for supporting the development of computational skills, coding activity, but also digital creativity. We speak a lot about computational thinking, coding, but we should also stress the importance of digital creativity among the young students. And that's quite an important element. So that are the rationale behind the involvement of a network of ministries of education. And one of the most important elements is also the structural dimension. So the involvement of ministries of education is quite important. They have contributed to the nomination of edu coordinators all over Europe. They have contributed to the emergence of a network of lead ambassadors all over Europe as well. And that's quite an important dimension where ministries are fully engaged and support this as an activity which now is progressively being embedded within the school's activities and not only managed during the after school time. And that's quite important as well.
Thank you. And you also mentioned before some other similar projects are working towards compatible aims. So it does fit into the whole, as you said, structure and aims of the organization. I have a very last round of questions, just to be very brief and to finalize our very interesting discussion. Stephanie, I'll start with you. What are some of the main priorities of the European Commission and in which the European Commission will focus on the next period, and with regards to, of course, education and digital skills, and how does EU Code Week fit into these priorities?
Well, it's true that as of next year, we will have a new commission, and with every new commission, we'll also have new priorities, which we at the moment don't know. However, what is true is that we still have the 2030 digital decade targets, and they will remain, and they will also remain for the new commission. So in my view, digital skills will stay a top priority. And of course, Code Week is an important element in order to achieve those targets. And for the next 2 editions of Code Week, we will continue funding it via a new project funded through the Digital Europe program. And it's one of our flagship initiatives. We are very proud of it. It's an amazing initiative. I cannot say what happens afterwards. This is then to be discussed with the new commission, but I'm pretty sure Code Week has a really bright future ahead.
Yeah. Exciting news to hear, also to know that it will continue. And Anushka, very briefly, so since the EU Code Week seems that will be still there, how would you encourage schools and educators that are listening to us today to participate in Code Week, and what's your wish for this edition of Code Week?
So for this edition of Code Week, what I wish will happen is that we will have schools from all areas of Europe for instance, schools in the countryside, in the mountains. I wish that the participation would be as diversified as possible, because I think it is important to think about this bottom-up initiative as an opportunity. And I really hope that every child has the opportunity at some point in their life to be exposed to the elements of informatics, of computational thinking, not only through school curricula, but also through these playful activities that are part of the spirit of EU Code Week.
Indeed. Mark, same question to you. How can we encourage teachers and schools to join EU Code Week, and what's your wish as well for this edition?
I would say the message for students is enjoy learning in different learning settings and try to do innovative learning approaches, try to have innovative learning projects, and Code Week gives you that marvelous opportunity. And the message for teachers is rediscover the joy of teaching with this informal context of a EU Code Week.
Thank you. Those are fantastic words to finish our conversation. I would like to thank you very much, Anushka, Stephanie, Mark, for being with us this afternoon. It's been a very interesting discussion. It has definitely helped us put Code Week into context, as well as what's coming up for Code Week and what will happen this edition. And I hope listeners has been also interesting and enriching to you all to understand why are you contributing to this initiative and how does it fit into the overall aims and objectives of EU Code Week. Thank you very much, and I would like now to give back the floor to my colleague Tommaso.
Thank you, Eugenia. Thank you to all the roundtable speakers. It was brilliant to hear what is the context around EU Code Week. You have an initiative that works very well, that really reaches out to many, many students and pupils and citizens across Europe and beyond. But now you know also that there's a structure, there's a strategy that goes beyond, that embed this wonderful initiative. I would like to also reiterate the wish that we made on the chat. So do share your wishes for EU Code Week. What do you want to achieve? What do you expect EU Code Week 23 to achieve? Lydia already commented, lots of students learning coding. What else do you hope to see in this edition of Code Week? And I promised I would have read you, and I'm reading you all. So of course, it's great to see so many of you connecting and commenting. I cannot cite you all, but Lena, Maria Chiara, Andra, Eddie, Asba, Telsean, Maritza. There's many teachers and professionals following us live on the different platforms. So thank you so much for your support and attention. Now the next step is to go a bit more into details and see one country case, in this case Spain, who also held the presidency of the European Union at the moment. So we would like to hear from a great colleague and supporter of EU Code Week from INTEF, the National Institute of Educational Technologies and Teacher Training. His name is José Luis Fernández. Thank you, José Luis, for being with us today.
Thanks to you for having me here with you, yes, to launch this edition of the EU Code Week.
It's a pleasure. So we can celebrate together this yet another edition of EU Code Week.
Yeah.
And of course, José Luis works within the Ministries of Education in Spain, so he has a very nice insight into what happens in the country. And can I tell us a bit more how those policies that were mentioned by our roundtable members are translating into really national policies and practices and teacher training programs? So the first question for you, José Luis, would be a bit more generally to set the background, the context about what is the place that computational thinking and coding and digital skills plays across the different curricula in Spanish schools.
Well, in fact, it was really a great opportunity for Spain as we revised some of the curricula really a short time ago. And this was an opportunity because we just made it more competential. You know, that we have all of the European competencies, the basic competencies that should be developed in students. One of them is digital competence. But we went a step forward in order, yes, to make it more clear in every subject and in every area of knowledge that is in all of the stages, educational stages. This gave us the opportunity to introduce computational thinking from the very beginning, from early child education and care. From 3 years old, we have introduced computational thinking in an unplugged way. So, for example, we have like an area of knowledge which is called knowing the environment, the social and cultural environment that the students have at that age. And in an unplugged way, you can just make them face these computational thinking with these basic abilities. For example, just developing laterality, which is a basic skill in that age. We also went through primary education. In primary education, yes, we associated it more clearly to mathematics, but also to the subject about the environment again. And here, maybe it is not that unplugged way, but you can start using screens, for example, Scratch when you are of the 5th degree or 6th degree, and many other different tools, which is that widen because you have more technologies available. And then we went through secondary education, and here we have computational thinking in more subjects. So we have it in mathematics, also in technology. We have another one which is digitalization, but also in sciences, in the subject related to sciences, biology, for example. It is important that it is like graded. So we have established like a profile that the student, a profile of knowledge that the student should acquire at the end of a stage. And this includes all of the competencies, also the digital competence and computational thinking.
That's great. It's a great progression. It really taps into the different subjects at different levels. It sounds very comprehensive, and of course it doesn't leave anybody behind. I guess this is really your final objective, really, to be as inclusive as possible in your policies and practices. It's a bit also what Code Week does, trying to really bring everybody on board. So maybe actually going back also to what the roundtable members were saying, then what is really the reason, the purpose for which you are integrating computational thinking and coding and the unplugged activities that you mentioned before, especially at early age? What would you expect pupils to develop, and what do you think they will be better at or better off with in their lives?
You need to take into consideration that something that we have been dealing with for a long time, and it is that there is a more usual combination or just living or interaction, I would say, between humans and new technologies, including machines. So this is an undeniable reality. So if we want to be prepared for the future, you need to take that into account. Why, for example, at those early stages? Because maybe people think that when you're talking about computational thinking, you mean about using screens and digital technologies from very early stages, but it is not. We are dealing with very basic capacities. For example, just the fact that you are able to decompose a problem, to see the different parts, analyze and propose solutions, and try them and test them from the very beginning gives the children the opportunity just to explore, to be able to make organized processes. Also to deal with frustration, because something that happens a lot to children is that they get frustrated when they don't get the solution from the very beginning, and this is something they also need to learn. So it is not only the fact that you're learning something related to computer science or coding or programming. It is the fact that you're developing abilities which are basic for life, not only in the computational sphere, but also in any other part of life. Moreover, I think it is important. I think that Anushka just mentioned it. I think that being able, when you're a boy, when you're a child, very early stages of learning, when you are able to do the same things, boys and girls, then you make it more normal, not that weird that it is only boys doing some things and girls doing some other things. So this is something that they can do together and that they see normal from the very early stages of education.
Absolutely. that also recalls some of the wishes that are shared on the chat, having more girls in this edition of Code Week 2023. Of course, actually, Code Week has been quite successful in reaching out almost equally to boys and girls. So that's perhaps one idea to make that objective a reality. And perhaps one last question for you, Jose Luis. It's about really how to make that happen, because of course it's a big challenge. Spain is a big country as well, so you have different autonomous communities. It's a diverse landscape, many different players in the field. How did you manage, and how are you trying to bring everybody together, try to spark collaboration among you Code Week ambassadors, leading teachers, edu coordinators, the ministries of education, the agencies, and so on and so forth?
Well, you know, as you mentioned, in Spain, we have really a decentralized model. So whenever you want to do something at national level, you need to take everybody into account. And that's good, in fact, because this means collaboration. We have been running some projects, for example, the School for Computational Thinking, Artificial Intelligence, in the previous years for 4 editions. And we did that with the support of the autonomous communities. We are now starting a new project which is called School Code 4.0, and we are going to do this again, all in collaboration with the autonomous communities. Even from the point that we are creating like a document just to support teachers with resources and training. We are doing this collaboratively. This is really one of the keys. Another key is that you need to take into account the needs that teachers have in everyday practice. And their need is, on the one hand, training. Training means that they have the support to learn the things they don't know yet. And that they feel that they are not weird or they are not stupid, but it is only a matter of just devoting some time to learn new things. This is positive even for professional development in general. This is on the one hand, and on the other hand, you need to provide teachers and schools with resources, didactic resources. It could be in the form of learning situations, or it could be just very specific activities just to be taken to class. And at this point, the EU Code Week is essential. I mean, the EU Code Week provides us with a lot of resources, from the ones to take to class to programming at home or podcasts, which are really interesting, training opportunities, both at European and national level. So having this for all of the schools in Europe, and the possibility even to share with other schools in other countries, is really an advantage for education, and to introduce computational thinking, programming, coding, and robotics, whatever, in everyday classrooms.
Thanks so much, Jose Luis. And if you don't mind, let's take a look together, perhaps, at the comments and the wishes from the audience about you Code Week 2023, because many connects to what you just mentioned as well. Maria Zapata also mentioned she wishing for a playful and inclusive activities this year, or Cristina is wishing to try all you Code Week challenges. Very ambitious, of course. Lindita wish for a great network of students to share their ideas and hopes and desires by coding. So it's really connecting the technical, in a way, aspect of programming with the social, even emotional aspect of human interactions. We also have the greetings of the Polish ambassador, Gregorz. Great to have you online as well. And some also old faces from Jakub Keitman, who wishes this edition of EU Code Week to be even more successful of the previous one. Thank you, Jakub, for setting the bar so high. Or Nair, who is also actually wishing that more young girls would engage in EU Code Week this year. What else? Lena just says, code, enjoy, share activities and experiences. It's really the essence of it. Getting started, breaking the ice, and making some impact in the communities we work within, which is certainly what you're also trying to do, Jose Luis, with your team, with your colleagues, and with all the volunteers and organizations that collaborate in Code Week. So thanks again for being with us, Jose Luis. Much appreciated, and see you on Code Week.
Thank you. Thanks a lot to you.
Now we have listened to decision makers, policymakers, European, national. We've read your comments, and please do keep sharing what motivates you also to keep going and keep contributing and spending time and energy within Code Week. That's very important to us to hear that. Of course, a very important component, essential component of the initiative are the students, the pupils, the one that actually are hopefully benefiting from the campaign and that can contribute also very directly with their know-how, expertise, creativity, and competence. As you know, in 2023, we've launched 6 national Code Week hackathons for secondary school students. So some of those have happened already, some others are still running. The best project will be launched and aggregated at the European level, and also the winning team will also come to Brussels to spend some time with us and further strengthen their wonderful ideas. And of course, we've collected some of those pitches, some of those wonderful prototypes produced by the teams participating in these hackathons, and we would like to share with you, first of all, the winner of the Latvian hackathon. So a team that contributed to this initiative and won the first place in the country, who kindly sent us their pitch deck in a way. So let's listen to them, what they've developed and why.
Exacto ir platforma, kurā jauni prāti un zinātne satiekas. Mūsu platformā pieejami saistoši raksti par aktualitātēm STEM jomā, kā arī zinātnes pasākumi, kur iedvesmos nākotnes zinātnieku. Mūsu platformā ir pieejama arī laboratorijas sadaļa, kur jaunieši var dziļāk izpētīt un vizualizēt STEM tēmas, kā arī paši atklāt, kā un kāpēc tas darbojas, radot deksmi izprast vairāk. Exacto laboratorija virzās pēc skola 2030 tēmām un viegli iekļausies skolēnu un pedagogu ikdienā.
Mūsu platformu jau ir izmantojuši 10 skolēni, kuri saka, ka šāds rīks noteikti atvieglos viņu ikdienas skolas gaitas. Lai sagatavotu jauniešu darbam STEM jomā, mēs sadarbībā ar Latvijas Universitāti organizēsim pirmo Exacto zinātņu konferenci Latvijā, kurā satiksies jaunieši, nozares eksperti un darba devēji, kuri dalīsies ar savu pieredzi un iedvesmos nākamo zinātnieku paudzi.
Isn't that exciting to see what students think it could be an improvement to education and how technology could support that? After that, we've heard from decision makers and experts in the adult world. We've listened to this great team who won the Latvian hackathon of this year. Now, we also have received 3 other pitches from actually the Albanian hackathon this year, which I had the pleasure actually to attend live, even though online. So I'm really excited to also share with you these 3 projects, which are definitely very telling about the capacity and the interest and the purposefulness of these teams. And you will see that all these 3 teams have been awarded, and enjoy and take your own conclusions from these wonderful examples.
Code to problem solve and give life to your dreams with Tiran Express.
technology meets empathy. Crafted for individuals with disabilities, Blight is more than an app. It's a revolution in inclusivity. Dive into tailored learning modules, interact seamlessly with our hand recognition AI. From engaging quizzes to a community of support. Blight bridges worlds, making digital accessibility a reality. Seek guidance, share stories, and grow with our mentorship hub and community chat. Blight, bridging worlds, igniting inclusivity.
Here you have 3 wonderful examples of what students can create while participating to EU Code Week hackathons and just engaging with their creativity and of course kind of know-how and preparation. So it's also very nice to see how technology connects with the human side, and it's so important for us to continue doing our job to know that this is really the impact that these activities can have. Now we are about to take a short break, 10 minutes. You can grab a coffee or whatever you would like to recharge a bit your batteries. Please do share the live event with as many colleagues as possible so that we can reach as many people as possible, especially newcomers that do not know perhaps what Code Week is. And we can join all together this event and launch altogether EU Code Week 2023 on the first school day of Code Week. Code Week, of course, formally started already over the weekend. Now, also let us know in the chat if you have any requests, thoughts, feedback. We saw already a couple of suggestions to focus on generative AI in the classroom or to focus on pre-primary education resources for Code Week. So that's absolutely brilliant. All that feedback and contributions are very important for us to hear. So let's recharge our battery a little bit and see you in about 10 minutes. Don't go away, of course. There's plenty of interesting materials, suggestions, hints, and tips for you in the following hour. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're ready for the second part of the event. As you can see, I'm joined by our colleagues Ioannis Gaviotis from the European Commission unit that is in charge of managing EU Code Week. Thank you for joining me on stage, Ioannis.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will take a look together at the activity map. In the meanwhile, I would still encourage you to share with us on the chat what kind of activities you've planned for this year EU Code Week. I saw already a couple of contributions, great robotics activities with Arduino and Microbit, activities on e-twinning, which is also another great way to spark collaboration and interaction among different countries, teachers, and students. So brilliant ideas. Please do share yours as well, because all of these can really spark the creativity and imagination of other educators, teachers, or learners. So now, Ioannis, we will take a look at the scoreboard. Why are we taking a look at the scoreboard, actually?
Well, to advance coding and algorithmic thinking, Code Week produces lots of incredible, original, multilingual stuff, such as learning beats, train-the-trainer courses, blog post podcasts. There is a lot of stuff, and I invite you to explore all those resources on our website at codeweek.eu. But for now, there is another important aspect of Code Week to focus on, and this is activity registration. Let's have a look at it. So, in the site, there is this scoreboard you may be seeing now, where there is a lot, actually thousands of activities being registered by teachers all around Europe, and actually not only Europe, it's even beyond Europe. So up to now, you may see that we are at 23,000 activities. This number will rise up, so we will move even further across the year. It's a great number, and it means that many of you have been registering the activities relating to coding and algorithmic thinking from your own country. Based on the registrations, you can see now that we have a scoreboard of countries, which is an indicative, of course, map, but it shows the number of activities registered and taking into consideration the population of each country. So you can see that Malta is the leader, also Austria, Luxembourg, and other countries. There are a lot of interesting stuff coming out from the activity registration. Let's go to the map to actually see the geographical distribution. And here you can see live the registration of activities during 2023. There are similar live maps actually for every single year. You can even go to the level of your school and see the activities registered by country, by city, by school, whatever. It's really interesting how these numbers build up and show the reach of coding across schools. Now, in order to reach this result, every one of you is welcome to register the activity. Registering the activity is a very simple process. It can take a couple of minutes, actually. So you can decide on the kind and scope of information that you want to disclose in the registration form. And apparently, your activity will become part of the Code Week map. What do you get by registering your activities? First, you improve the visibility of your activity among your peer teachers, school staff, etc. Second, you attract new audience that you would have not seen or heard of your activity. And of course, they may be welcome to join it. And third, you can get credit, like badges or even certificates, and acknowledgement for the work that you have invested in organizing this activity. So I would invite to make your mark and register your activities and become part of the Code Week map.
Thank you, Ioannis. That's very important. Of course, these are numbers, these are pins, but they represent the hard work of volunteers, students, teachers, learners, organization, NGOs, and everybody that is contributing to Code Week. So please do keep up that nice work. That takes a few minutes to register your activity and send your activity actually automatically to the ambassador in your area or to the EU Code Week team, who would moderate your entry and publish it on the EU Code Week website. And now it's time actually to get to know some other teachers, leading teachers in this case, with the help of our wonderful colleagues Ariana Blazic, who is also a very strong member of the EU Code Week team here at European Schoolnet and has traveled to 4 countries to search for nice practices and experiences from teachers and pupils. The first trip, school trip that we're taking is to Germany, and our leading teacher Ulla is actually explaining us a bit what's going on in her class. Let's listen to her.
It's a huge pleasure to travel to Germany today. Our EU Code Week leading teacher Ulla Hauptmann is waiting for us. Hello, Ulla.
Hi, Ariana. We are like in the middle of Germany in Waldmichelbach. I am a biology and computer science teacher at the Überwald Gymnasium there. And today we are with my class of 10th grade students for computer science. Maybe they can wave and say hello.
Hello. Hello. Good to see you. Can you tell us perhaps about some engaging coding activities or coding projects that you have done with your students?
One thing I really love to do with my students is programming of augmented and virtual reality worlds and things. So we did a game project last year where my students programmed with CoSpaces and they created a whole game world together in teams. So I think programming of games is always highly motivating for them. And right now we started working with the Calliope Mini, and it's just our second lesson. So we're I always offer my materials on a learning platform so that my students have like a handout they can work on. And if they need more help, I can assist and walk around because they usually work on their own or like in teams or groups.
Yeah, a good advantage with collaborating with my classmates and teammates is that we can find nice ideas that can improve our group project and also reduce the time it takes to finish a project. Challenges, yes, indeed, because everyone codes different and there's also some disagreements, but that's fine.
I work with my classmates because I can get new and other solutions.
In the last year, we worked together at a game, and there we worked together to get better solutions and faster solutions, and it helps us to code better, and the solution was much more better than the solution when we work alone. The communication was different because we had to communicate each lesson to say what exercises we have to do, but this was better than working alone.
The activity is a scissors, rock, paper project where you use, let me show the Calliope Mini, and you just shake it randomly and then it picks one of the signs. And if you push the A button, it counts, like every win gets 1 point. And if you want to reset it, you have to push the A and B button. And if you want to see the result, you push the B button. And I looked at the Code Week challenge, which is something we might do as well.
Thank you to Ariana, thank you to Ulla and her students. There's no better way to be convinced of the value of EU Code Week materials and activities than hearing and listening to students and pupils that try that out. So I'm really thankful for your contribution, and I hope you enjoyed it and find it inspirational. And now the next activity, it's extremely important because let us deep dive into one topic that is, of course, very important also for you to across Europe and even beyond. The gender aspect linked to the participation of girls and women in the IT sector and in the development of digital skills. So our great colleague Irini Simenidou, who coordinates the EU Code Week community, has interviewed two of our brilliant EU Code Week ambassadors who has a specific interest, competence, and initiatives in this area. Let's hear from Irini and the interviewees, EU Code Week ambassadors, about how we can make an impact in this area too.
At this session of the EU Code Week kickoff event, we will learn more on how to attract and engage girls and women into EU Code Week and coding in general. As we all know, the gender gap in the field of information technology has been a long-standing issue. Girls are often not encouraged to pursue careers and subjects at STEM, that's leading to fewer women in entering IT-related programs. EU Code Week is trying to tackle this issue by bringing more girls in informatics from a really young age. Today, we have with us two active EU Code Week ambassadors who will try to achieve greater gender equality in the field of coding and digital literacy. I'm pleased to introduce you to Madhumalti Sharma, EU Code Week Ambassador of Luxembourg, and Monika Kapralikova, EU Code Week Ambassador of Slovakia. Welcome and thank you for being today with us.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here.
Amazing. So without further ado, I will begin with the first question, which will be directed to Madhumalti. So why is it important to focus on boosting digital skills, specifically for girls and young women in today's society, Madhumalti?
So you spoke about the statistics already, Irini. We know how important it is to try to get more girls into tech, right? If you look at the population of the world, the girls and women are 50% of the population. So why should it not be that we have 50% of them working actively? Because the idea is that we not only focus on being consumers of technology, but also creators of technology. And I think that's why it's very important for girls to be part of that. We've seen a lot of instances where when there isn't diversity in testing apps, so for example for AI, right, we saw some fiascos happen because specific groups of people were not tested. For example, the face recognition software wouldn't detect a human face if it was a person of color. So that goes very well to show that unless you have a diverse audience focusing and working on tech, it's not going to create a wholesome solution for the world. And women have a very important role to play, girls as well. If you look at the statistics of the UN, they say that by the age of 6, girls are already losing confidence in thinking that they can perform well in STEM subjects in science and mathematics. So unless we start early and do it, they will kind of grow up with it. So it is important to start early and specifically focus on young girls and women to get into tech.
Thank you so much for pointing out these important aspects as well. I will continue with Monika. Based on your experience, Monika, what are the primary barriers or challenges that prevent girls from pursuing and excelling in digital skills and technology fields?
Girls face several primary barriers and challenges that can prevent them from pursuing and excelling in digital skills and technology. Some of the key barriers include lack of female role models, for instance. If they grow up without role models, they don't know that they can reach out or work in ICT sector. The underrepresentation of women in tech roles means that girls have fewer role models to look up to. The other barrier is stereotype and lack of support system. Traditional gender stereotypes and biases can discourage girls from pursuing careers in technology. They may face discouragement from family, teachers, peers who believe that certain fields are more suitable for boys. And this can affect their confidence and performance in technology-related activities and courses. Another barrier is lack of inclusive curriculum. From our experience, based on data, we notice that in schools they have several teachers who exclude or found separate groups for girls who are not keen into technologies, for instance. And the confidence gap. Girls may lack confidence in their abilities instead due to social pressure or lack of, and I'm going to back, lack of female role models.
Wow, the confidence gap. We really like to hear that. This most of the times we skip this part of our answers indeed. So I would like now to direct a bit our discussion to the EU Code Week and what role can EU Code Week play in promoting digital literacy and skills among girls. So Madhumalti, being a long-standing ambassador for EU Code Week, what's your thoughts about that?
Sure. So what I really love is that EU Code Week is a grassroots level movement, and therefore it is the people who are actually working towards getting more digital skills across their different communities. So EU Code Week plays a very important role. When EU Code Week started, we were focusing on getting more events for the general public. Over the years, it has evolved to focusing a lot on younger people, so basically schools, and getting more than 50% of schools across Europe involved in Code Week activities. Given the fact that it is very easy for people to actually go in and create an event, open it up to the public, also for schools and their teachers to do it, EU Code Week can play a very important role in making it happen. The other aspect which I think is really cool is the fact that there are so many resources available for people who want to organize an activity. So if it is a teacher or a volunteer who says, hey, I want to spend a couple of hours during the week or during the weekend in trying to organize something for my students or for young girls specifically, there are many resources available for all the different age ranges. Stuff that can be done outdoors, stuff that needs a computer, stuff that can be unplugged and doesn't need a computer. So definitely EU Code Week plays a role. Also, the three pillars on which EU Code Week stands, like we have the ambassadors who play a role in promoting it. Then we have the EDU coordinators, who are people from the ministries or help in framing policies, who can help make it happen through their push and drive and sponsorship. And the third pillar is the leading teachers. So I think these three pillars, teachers will actually go out there and organize the activities. So this whole structure that has been built because of EU Code Week kind of makes it a good way of making it happen and promoting digital skills, specifically focusing on girls.
Exactly, this holistic aspect of YouCode Week can make a huge difference. Thank you for bringing all of this in one answer, Madhumalti. Much appreciated. And how can EUCode Week now help overcoming the stereotypes that Monica referred earlier and biases that may discourage girls for actually pursuing careers in technology and digital fields?
I think that EU Code we can play a significant role as well in overcoming stereotypes and biases. For instance, if we are to give some examples of what we could do within the frame of EU Code Week, it could be, for instance, girls-only coding workshops. Organizing girls-only coding workshops and events can provide a safe and welcoming space for girls to explore their interest in technology without the fear of gender bias or discrimination, or even just the fear of failing. Another thing is educational resources. If we make the language within them, including the girls, we will offer them, or they will feel again invited and being welcome to enter and to study. So starting from early age, as early mentioned, from the age of 6 years or 8 years, and including the feminine form in languages they have, which have feminine forms, could be empowering as well. Another are awareness campaign, that we can running awareness campaign during EU Code Week that challenges stereotypes and biases, that can educate both girls and boys. And as well, we cannot move along without parental engagement. So it is good to encourage parents to support their daughters' interest in technology. It is very crucial. So maybe it would be nice to organize joint workshops, parents and girls within the EU Code Week. Another maybe interesting program could be mentorship program, where we could match girls with female mentors, and also maybe deepen the collaboration with the schools. in order them to support education and early education of girls. So maybe in short and briefly, that would be the recommendation based on our experience.
Can I just add something to this, Irini? So
Of
I want to
course.
say that, EU Code Week and society is you and me. And I think, like very well pointed out by Monica, the parents have an important role to play. So, for example, when we as parents want to change the bulb or change the hard disk of our computer, we should encourage our daughters to come and help us do it as well, and not really think that, hey, I should ask my son to do it, for instance, or so I think that is an important aspect, because a lot of times we have biases in ourselves which we are not able to recognize, and we kind of percolate it. So this is one of the ways where I feel you and me, who are part of EU Code Week, which is like everybody who's listening as well, who's part of EU Code Week, can play a role to make it happen.
Wow, a lot of great aspects, and I don't think that we missed anything. We put everything into our list of all these useful recommendations that we know that we need to do, and what to do also as the EU Code Week team to boost digital skills for girls, which needs to be our priority for the upcoming years. So I will move now to my final question, directed to both of you, because I've seen that you're quite passionate, and I love what you brought into this conversation. Could you, in one sentence, encourage all girls and women listening to us to engage in EU Code Week and experiment and create with digital technology, just like a motivational closing for our today's interview?
Yes, you said in one sentence that would be difficult, but if I would say one claim or one important idea I would like to share at this moment or this stage, it is, don't be afraid to fail. I mean, you can learn everything by trial and error, and it is important to try, maybe to fall, but to start again. And by starting again, you will learn more and more. And don't be afraid to start again in technology, because you may love it. That's the worst thing that can happen to you.
I completely echo that. This is true. So, just like a tagline of one of the companies, I would say just do it. I mean, it's actually, that simple. Just go ahead and do it, and then see what it brings to you. Unless you try something, you wouldn't know if it's going to be good or bad. The other aspect, I think, is people shouldn't think that those who code have to necessarily become programmers. There are ways to interact with technology by doing designing, by creation, in the world of gaming, in the world of social media. So I think digital is part of our everyday lives in so many different aspects, that it is important for girls to take charge and give it a shot, and then decide which path they want to follow within digital. So I would say give it a shot, and just try it and do it.
That's great points. I'm sure all the girls that tune in our kickoff event today will grab some of these aspects. I want to thank you both for taking time to share your valuable insights and expertise with us today. It's been an incredible opportunity to explore ways on encouraging girls and young women into EU Code Week. And thank you both. Happy coding. And I'll leave the floor now to Tommaso. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Irini. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Madhumalti. That was a brilliant exchange, and I hope it was encouraging and also enlightening for many of us and many of the organizers of EU Code Week activities across Europe. Please do take these suggestions in mind while you organize your activities. I was also looking at the chat, because many of you shared the activities that you're organizing for Code Week, which is really, really brilliant. Lydia shared that she's coding with Scratch and robotics in their school. So of course, connecting for the first speech that we heard from Professor Resnick. Ionella actually planned an e-twinning project to celebrate Erasmus Days through coding activities, and she actually wants to salute her 150 partners in these activities. Congratulations. Caterina and Georgette actually shared directly the links to their activities, and I can guarantee that those activities are certainly a good example of what you could organize within Code Week. And yet again, another actually perk and positive side of registering your activity in the map. When you're there, you can simply share your activity as if it were a separate little website that condenses all the information about what you're doing and what you're organizing. So in case you want to find partners, if you want to find attendees, you just share that link and people would know where you are and what are the basic elements of your activity. And of course, all these events are moderated by, once again, the great EU Code Week ambassadors and the central team here. There are many activities that you can read yourself in the chat, but Fotini also working with B-bots and activities with kindergarten material. So of course you see how actually the community is ready and willing to start as early as possible, of course with the appropriate methodology and tools. And many others examples for working together also across countries, as Lina mentioned, in a project that involves Greece, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Romania. So a really, really nice example of what can be done while learning coding, making bonds and connection with people from other countries, opening up our horizon also when it comes to that. So keep sharing, and also share any tips you might have for also reaching out more girls, which is, of course, an issue that we heard we still have to address. And finally, just going back to one comment that was raised at the beginning about generative AI. The comment was about what's the place of writing line of codes when generative AI will be even more advanced and more present in our everyday life and in our work. But if you hear about these initiatives and activities, you see that there's much more than actually coding and programming. There's really the digital creativity that our director mentioned a bit before. So a different approach towards digital technology and the digital world. But of course, that comment and question is very, very relevant and must be addressed in the coming months, if not coming minutes. And now we continue our school trip series with Ariana, who actually went back to her home country, Croatia, to interview Perica, another wonderful EU Code Week leading teacher, and her students. Let's see what's going on in her class.
Everyone, I'm Perica Vulić-Voćanec, teacher in elementary school, Osnovna škola Ivana Meštrovića in Zagreb, Croatia. And this is my classroom and my drugi C, second C class. So here are they. Hello. We are having our school day, and we are happy to host you in our classroom. Well, since my students are mainly 8 years old, as you can see, we don't use devices for them in the classroom. So we are based on unplugged activities. So when they reach appliances and laptops and mobile phones, they'll be able to start programming easier. On web page EU Code Week, there are plenty of resources for us teachers to use and to practice coding with our kids. So it's very useful to go and to have such a base of material that's ready to go and to do in a classroom.
Hi, Ozo. How are you?
I'm good.
I have a question for you. How do you work together with other students? Do you collaborate while you are working on coding projects?
I work together because I can learn more and to know more things.
This is Dora.
I love to help everyone if they don't know some answers, and yeah.
Do you like coding?
Yes, it's really fun. Ja radim odlično.
Dean says that he works very well with his classmates.
Pa ako zaprem negdje da mi prijatelj može pomoći ili ako prijatelj ne zna da mu ja mogu pomoći.
A misliš li da je kodiranje važno znati?
Da, zato zato da se znamo u životu kretati, gdje da odemo. Recimo, ako ne znaš otići u školu. Zato ti tata da neku kartu i ti se to sam snađeš.
Okay, so coding can help us in life, and we need to learn how to code. And also, Mate says that he likes working with his friends because they can help each other.
We can show you something that they did. Worksheet we are working on today is for differentiating lower letters B, P, and D. And so they have to find letter that's letter B, and then they have to write the code on that path. How would Hedgehog, because that's our class mascot, reach his treat, and that's Apple. And so they are writing code for that.
We like coding!
Thank you so much. You are wonderful, and keep on coding and keep on doing all these fantastic activities.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for putting a smile in all our faces. I'm sure us in Brussels, but everybody else connecting. It was so nice to see your reactions or your passion. Thank you very, very much. Now, of course, as mentioned, we don't leave you alone in the initiative. We train you as well as much as we can through our programs. And we understand that not everybody are comfortable to teach computational thinking or coding, unplugged activities, educational robotics, AI, or any other aspects of this very complex and fast evolving world. So let's take a look at what we have in Code Week right now live that you can benefit from listening to once again our dear colleague Eugenia.
Thanks, Tommaso, and hello again. Indeed, if Code Week has piqued your interest, but you do not know yet where to begin or where to get started, I'm here to get you an insight into 2 activities that you can get with which you can get started right now, and which can help you bring coding and digital skills right now to your students, to your classroom, just like Peritza or Ula do with their students, as you have seen today. So let me show you. As you can see here on the screen, I'm very, very excited to announce and to let you know that just today we have launched a brand new MOOC of EU Code Week entitled Navigating Innovative Technologies Across the Curriculum. This MOOC will run until the 15th of November. And through this MOOC, you have a chance to not just develop your own digital skills and coding skills, but also to learn of many different practical activities and case studies, which will help you bring different approaches to teach coding into your class. We're going to see different approaches such as app development, virtual reality, augmented reality, but many, many others. So if you're interested, if you want to get started, I invite you to enroll. There's already 1,000 teachers that as of today have registered to the course. You can scan the QR code that you have in your screens, which will lead you to the page of the course, and you can join us in this amazing learning journey that has started today and will last until mid-November. So take the chance and join us. But there's also a second initiative which I would like to show you, which is the EU Code Week Challenges. The EU Code Week Challenges are short activities translated into 30 different languages. I'm sure you will find your own. And through these short activities, you can actually take different coding and technology and digital skills related activities and challenges, and you can bring this directly into your classroom to your students without actually needing to have a great experience or lots of knowledge in coding. You can just take it directly into your classroom. And the very exciting thing is that throughout the 2 weeks of Code Week, we're actually going to be publishing new challenges. So you can, every time you will open that website, you're going to find something new and intriguing. So scan the QR code and get going with coding. And if you want to have a little sneak peek into how these challenges look like, my colleague Irini has prepared an amazing tutorial into one of these Code Week challenges that will help you understand more about them.
Hello, I'm Irini, and together we will try out one of hands-on EU Code Week activities. As you know, we offer a lot of activities in our EU Code Week website, and today we will go through one of our challenges, catching the EU Code Week bubbles. So open your browsers and follow me, we can do it together. Here's how to create your own motion control game step by step. First, log in to Scratch and create a new project. We will create an exciting game that uses your webcam as a motion sensor. Now, choose or create a sprite. You will get the Scratch cut by default, which will do just fine to get started. But we decided to use the EU Code Week bubble as a costume for ours. Now let's position the sprite about at the center of the canvas. Next, make the game create clones of your sprite. Let's say every second until the game is over. This will make the game a bit more unpredictable and fun. To keep track of your score and the game's timer, we need to create two variables. Name one score and the other timer. Attach them to your sprite. Set the timer variable to 30, which will be the countdown for your game. Add a change timer by -1 block to make it count down. Don't forget to tell the system to stop all interaction once the time is out and to reset the score to 0 when the green flag is clicked. Now click Add an extension and choose Video Sensing. This will allow your game to detect motion. Now make the game give you a point every time you catch a sprite. Make it also disappear and reappear in a random position.
And voila! With these steps, you've got the building blocks to create your own motion control game. Complete and customize it by adding your own sprite designs, adding a game over message at the end, and music playing wherever you want to.
And now we created the game, and let's play together!
As you saw, I couldn't also resist to play this great game we built together with Irini. So now it's up to you. Please do the same. Remix this project or start from scratch. It's a great activity to activate yourself and your students or everybody else you're trying to participate to Code Week with. On the chat, you will also find some more information. There's a challenge written by Ariana Blazic on the topic, so it will really guide you step by step also to achieve these elements and then start, of course, adding all the bits and pieces that Irini was mentioning. So now before getting to the next visit, I just would like to read two comments very quickly. One is about Gwyneth, who had some South African visitors in their schools in Finland, and they tried a new resource for teaching coding and learning about rhinos poaching, actually. So an environmental and social aspect and trouble in South Africa with their students. They really like this initiative. Actually, I could also try that out. So interesting to see this again in the chat. And Roberta, who actually also went back to the conversation we had with Monica and Madhumalti about the importance of embracing failure and really learning from that through coding, through digital, through any other activities that still are produced and carried out in a safe atmosphere, and like traditional assessment. So a very important message also shared on the chat, and please do continue sharing your thoughts with us throughout the event. Now, we would like to go back to Ariana, who went this time to Poland to interview Krzysztof Jakowski, who is another very active and great EU Code Week leading teacher, and his students. Let's listen to them.
School number 48 in Szczecin in northwest Poland. Now I'm conducting a lesson, the lesson with great teenagers from 7 grades from the school. I love Scratch, so I very often use this tool because Scratch can give you as a teacher a lot of possibilities to engage pupils. Why? For example, Scratch have backpack. I love this function because you can prepare one project in cooperation with a whole group of students, and pupils can work alone, and after that at the end they can connect they work in one project. And I love music the same. In Scratch you have music blocks, and everyone can play with music in Scratch and have a lot of fun. I love it, and this path is connected with passion. Very often students like play with graphics, with music, with storytelling, and you can use it when you play with electronic tools, with application, with tool like a Scratch. So it's very important for me as a teacher to give students a space that I can develop their creativity.
I really like work together with my friends because I think that it's important to work with other people, and I think it's really important, and we should work together because when we work just
alone, it's I remember one project we did on like additional lessons when we built Lego bricks, and we could alive it.
This is our Code Week challenge, and we start during this lesson. We started to play with this game, and I have here. What's your name? Helena and
Maya.
And Maya, and you can play with Code Week game now. Okay. Okay, I think 94 points result for us. Okay, Ariana.
Thank you very much for participating in the kickoff event. It was really, really a huge pleasure to visit your classroom today. Have fun and continue coding, and enjoy your coding activities. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So we did it. Krzysztof and his students did it. Now it's your turn to develop and play the video sensing game of EU Code Week. Thank you so much once again for this contribution and interview. It was very, very, very enjoyable as well. Now we are actually looking at a bit more in details on what you have available within Code Week. Many different things. You know, you've heard throughout the event different opportunities and links and activities. There's plenty really of resources and initiatives that we make available for trainers, educators, or also learners. But of course, it's also good to make a bit of clarity among them. And for that very challenging and ambitious task, I would pass the mic yet again to our colleague, Irini. Thank you, Irini.
Hello again from my side, and good afternoon. Together we will dive into the codeweek.eu website. And as you know, EUCode Week project holds a super rich website where you can find free training materials and resources where you can get started and then build your own innovative activities for your students. So let's get started with your EUCode Week Digest. Yes, here it is. And we'll try to make it, easier for us to see where we can start. So if you're looking for motivation, especially on Mondays, EUCode Week podcast can help you a lot with that. Actually, expert guests from different fields are coming to our Code Week podcast, exploring challenges and opportunities for education in our digital world. And you can learn a lot out of this material. Also, it's important to know that you will find our podcast at our website, codeweek.eu/podcast, and also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, practically everywhere. So don't hesitate to check them out and also share them with your students, because it's important also for them to have a look what the experts say around about these important areas today. And now that we got our motivation, we can actually move forward and to the EUCode Week learning bits. Have no previous experience or coding and programming activities in the classroom? That's no problem at all, because our EUCode Week learning bits, they are super structured, easy training materials where you can use to build a coding or programming activity for your students. There is a variety of modules and areas, from unplugged coding activities to more complicated ones, even accessible activities for every student. So give it a go and you will have a lesson prepared within 15 minutes. And having starting all this, and maybe you are up to learn a bit more, CodeWeek website can also offer you a way to support your learning in digital literacy area. And how you can find this out? Click our resources, then find CodeWeek Learn, and then open the website, and you will find, and you can browse through our repository keywords, so you can find the most suitable resource for you to enrich your learning experience. Please just notice that these materials are for free, and also it's super important to know that you can also learn, click the area of interest to you. For example, if you want to learn more about STEM activities, please use the word STEM. And as we learn, first we move and teach. Exactly. You can follow the same structure as we talked about in the Learn. The teach, you can use specific terms such as Scratch or Python activities for students, indicate the age of your students in the browser, and then you will find out a lot of free activities and sources that you can use to expand your teaching activities in the classroom. Oh, we learn a lot so much, and maybe we need a break or extra motivation and inspiration. And that's why we have a full enriched blog post in our Code Week website once you click blog. And this is my personal favorite one. And why that? Because you can find teacher stories, how they implement the Code Week activities, teachers sharing their experiences with photos and many, many, many insightful comments on that. Also, you can find up-to-date edutech items, so you can learn more. And this can be your weekly digest on the area of education technology or coding tools for education that you can learn. And yes, I still have more to say. Yes, so we can move forward to our EUCode Week YouTube channel, last but not least. And why I put this here? Because actually in our EUCode Week YouTube channel, you can find a lot of testimonial videos. All the online events are held in there. For example, this event, you will find it later on to our YouTube channel, so you can visit it again. Also, our EUCode Week webinars are there. Look, what? You don't know about our Code Week webinars? These webinars bring innovative topics closer to our Code Week community. And in case you don't have time to watch them and register on them, you will find them always under our EUCode Week webinar series 2023. And they will be there for you to also give you some motivation and inspiration coming from our community or our partners. And yes, I think I said already a lot. What are you waiting for? Click and explore our website, and don't forget to post these activities that you will try on in our EUCode Week map. And now another virtual school trip. Where are you going this time? Oh, we're going to Serbia to Dalibor Todorovic and his students. Our EU Code Week leading teacher with his classroom will let us know how they implement the EU Code Week activities. Hello, Dalibor and Ariana.
And I'm a teacher of programming and other specialized IT subjects in a department for students gifted in computer science in grammar school 9 May in the city of Niš in Serbia. And those are these students. Their age is 17 years old. They are third grade, and they are a third generation of IT department students in our school. One of the most exciting projects and that we are especially proud on is a project that we named STEAM IT. It happened last year in collaboration with the Center for Promotion of Science in Serbia and the Regional Center for Education in the city of Niš. We tailored some coding activities related to programming Arduino devices, Lego robots, augmented in the virtual reality, and it was intended for younger students, for students that are final grade in primary school, age 13 or 14. And my students designed those activities, and basically they were the realizators of the workshops. So it was engaging for them in the sense that it was a peer-to-peer learning and teaching, and they better knew what topics would be the most interesting for students of this age. And we had two workshops in continuation of 2 weeks.
One of the projects we did, it's a Lego robot from the Mindstorm series. It has been made into a car, but it can be made into a walking robot or whatever, really. So here I have it connected to a phone, so I can remotely control it and drive it. It's fitted with a tiny little gun and everything. It has speakers inside, and in general, it can be made into many other things. It has other things like color sensors and distance sensors, so it can be made into fully automatic driving. So if programmed, it can solve mazes and stuff like that.
This LCD screen was programmed using an Arduino Uno to display the name of our school.
Okay, so we have an RGB light here. These are potentiometers, and we can control the light here, the color and brightness. They are connected here to this board, and it's pretty simple. Yeah, I recommend it. It's always better in teams. It's better to do it with your friends.
Hello, my name is Veljko. I'm going to show you one project that we made. It's a simple project made of buttons, beepers, and lights. It's connected to Arduino and a laptop. It works very simple. When we press the light, you can hear the beep and the light goes on. And so with the next and next button. With this, we can make more nuances of the beeps and maybe make some song or something like that when pressing buttons. In projects, teamwork is very important, and collaboration, because when we work together, we can do things faster, better, and more complex. And when everyone is working together and we have good organization, we can make everything fast and good.
The challenges that are faced without teamwork is that students that are perhaps unable to learn by themselves or are not really experienced in the field can learn from other experienced students by working with them on various projects. it's easier to coordinate when you're a team.
Each class and every day is basically coding day and code week. So we're always prepared for these things.
And they love coding.
That's why they enrolled in this department.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all your students, and thank you, Dalibor.
And as Dalibor says, every day is Code Week, every week is Code Week. So stay with us for this peak of the campaign during these 2 weeks, but also throughout the year, because there's many opportunities for teachers and students alike. It's really a place where you can feel welcomed and where you can find useful and meaningful activities and resources for you. So now, unfortunately, these 2 hours flew away, so it's already the time to close and let you also go and prepare your activities for tomorrow and what awaits you within or beyond EU Code Week. It has been very exciting to be with you and listening to very different people from different backgrounds, different countries, and different approaches to coding. I think you can really appreciate that there's something for every taste and levels. But before closing, of course, we have a behind the scene thank you message and greetings also from people that you haven't seen yet today. Of course, we have the contribution of our colleagues to the event, but the European Commission team that has joined recently in the past year, the coordination and management of EU Code Week, wanted also to be with us and share their greetings.
Okay, thanks to Massa. As the last message, again, I would like to stress how much we value the time, the resources, the energy everybody who's involved in Code Week puts into Code Week. It's really amazing to see how we all work together to achieve the common goal of boosting digital skills of all. And having said that, I would like then to pass the microphone to my colleague, Denisa.
Thanks, Stephanie. So Code Week has been growing tremendously over the past years with an increasing number of activities that we see, and it's great to see so many inspiring activities all over Europe and beyond. So we encourage you to check out the activity map on the Code Week website again, and to get inspired by all these activities and to also register your own activities and inspire others. We also encourage you to make good use of all the resources that are available to you, the podcast, the blog posts, the learning beats, the online courses that are all available, and many others, and to let us know whatever else you would like to see on the website as well. We really value your contributions. And last but not least, we really invite you to continue the conversation, to keep the Code Week spirit alive on our social media channels, to share all your nice experiences organizing all these great activities, and to keep up the good work eventually. So let's keep the Code Week spirit alive for these 2 upcoming weeks in celebration of the 11th edition and for the year to come as well.
Okay, my very short message is that there is something for everyone in Code Week. You can get to our website. There is much resources. There are resources that you can use in your classroom. There is the opportunity, of course, that you publish your own efforts and your activities out there. And it's really worth the investment to become part of Code Week, because Code Week has a long history. It's been with us 10 years, and it is going to certainly be with us in the forthcoming years. So invest and become part of the Code Week team.
Having said that, we wish you happy Code Week. Goodbye.
Happy Code Week. Bye.